I put on these jeans,
these shoes,
these gloves.
because I need something as reliable as I am.
Because they keep me light on my feet.
Because my hands are my tools.
Sometimes it's hard to keep up.
The hours are long.
My body wants to quit.
But I'm proud.
It's who I am.
It's my grind.
This is our coffee. And this is how it lives.
What up? This is the man of the hour, Leo Rush, and you are watching THS Wrestling.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Well, let's welcome in the Wrestling Classic. Let's bring him in before I do my big old intro. He's got the shiny jacket on. My God.
He just wants to show up. And I guess if you're going to show up late, you're going to show up in sort of style.
In style.
Yeah.
As I was saying, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to That Wrestling Show, brought to you by THS Wrestling and That Hashtag Show. We are live on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and that's pretty much it, I think. Maybe somewhere else. I'm not sure. But NXT just ended. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But we've got the draft to get to. And we're also going to try and figure out who the Joker is. You see, I made that. Guys, I did that. Derek, what's going on? Kat, what's going on? Let's introduce Neeson. Neeson, how you doing?
Oh, man, it's a Tuesday. Guys, you know, we lost the Sunday Night War to football, to Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. So we decided to rebrand and redo things, add more color, add more people. You could just call this That Wrestling Show 5.213 because that's how many times this has been rebranded.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm also joined by Jimmy. Jimmy, how's it going, man?
Going all right. It's been a crazy week and a half, I guess, from wrestling, but it's always been crazy. It's just going to continue to get crazy, and this is where we are right now. So Tuesday nights, let's go.
Let's go. Tuesday nights, and we have the Wrestling Classic. Justin, how you doing, man? How was your flight back? It was great to see you a week ago.
Honestly, it's been a wild few weeks. There is a lot to catch up on. I feel like I've been doing show after show after show, and it's a lot of catch up on 2 weeks of wrestling. Had a blast seeing you guys. Shout out to everybody that checked out the draft video we put out for THS Wrestling. That was cool. I was 4 out of 5, but we'll talk about that later. But no, it's great to be back on the show, and the flight was good. I'm delayed by like 2 hours, but that's LAX for you. Eh?
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
that sounds about right. Yeah, absolutely. Matthew, Ken, what's going on in the chat, guys? We're going to start off. We did lose the Sunday Night War, but it actually turned out to not be a bad thing because that means we can recap the WWE draft. It ended after they did it during the Raw after show, right?
They on Raw Talk they completed the draft.
They completed it, and as you see, their rosters effective after Crown Jewel, and this is what those are what the rosters look like. I think my background's blue. So I feel like that's to me. I feel like that's who won the draft in my eyes again. But let's go down the line here. Justin, who do you think won this draft?
I still think SmackDown will be the better written show regardless of the fact, but I think they did a really good job of trying to balance things out. I think Raw did secure some good names that they can get creative with. I think a lot of things that were on Raw that were getting stale, aka Drew McIntyre, is in a new place, and stuff like that is what's really going to change things. So I do think SmackDown's still going to continue being the better show, but I think it was pretty fair, if you ask me. It was pretty balanced out.
Okay. Neeson, we heard about SmackDown. What do you think about Raw? What do you think Raw did here that was good?
Big E's the champion. I don't understand. Look, Raw. Look, I think SmackDown won as well. Just to be frank, because of course, the boss, the blueprint, the standard, the GOAT, the DDT Mandalorian, the draw, and the woo kicking Sasha Banks is now and still on SmackDown. Yeah, she had the Ric Flair shoes on. But I think Raw did some amazing things with Finn Balor going to Raw. I think Finn Balor possibly turning heel and being next to Big E is going to help him. I think also Big E being him having a whole slew of new competitors as well without the New Day is going to be very interesting as well. Plus, remember, all the top guys are tied up in storylines right now. So we could see a lot of challenges for Big E for the next couple of months.
I mean, I agree, but do you think we got the little tease that we were going to get the New Day in full form again, and then they switched it on us again?
You are trying to break my heart over and over again by bringing up these things. Charge. The one surprise and the one surprise. Well, you brought it up. You just brought it up, Pingle. That's what happened. I cried, and I cried again. The one positive thing that did come out of this was Hurt Business is back, and they are here to stay, especially going against Goldberg. That is a plus in my eyes. And I really think we're going to see the split between the Street Profits coming very soon. So there's a lot of interesting things to look forward to on Raw for sure.
Okay, I want to talk about that for a second. And I'm going to throw it to Jimmy. Do you want to see a split between the Street Profits? Do you think that is good for both of them? Or, as the old saying goes, is someone going to get martied?
Unfortunately, I think Dawkins is going to get martied here if that ever does happen, or I guess when. I honestly hope they hold out on that, because let's be honest, Raw after this draft is completely devoid of tag teams. Aside from putting random singles guys together as they usually do. So yeah, with a lot of the tag teams now on SmackDown, I really don't see a point for splitting them up just yet. I mean, it's definitely going to happen, but hopefully not too soon.
And who do you think won the draft? Do you think it's SmackDown?
By far SmackDown, as Justin and Neeson mentioned, they're gaining Drew McIntyre, which is going to give us a whole lot of new matches. And like I previously mentioned, we got all the tag teams there now. And I think we're just, and don't forget, the New Day will live together in our hearts when you watch on Netflix.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
So,
nailed it. There you go.
I did watch that. Yes, I did.
But I just want to comment on the Street Profit thing really quickly though, because was there something that happened that symbolized or showcased that they might split? All
right, so this was just my theory, right?
Yeah.
And you can see it within just the company. Anytime you put Roman Reigns up against anyone, that other person, you give them a real match. You don't give Roman Reigns a squash match.
Okay.
They trust that other person.
Yeah.
Not only did they do that, they did multiple promos. He had multiple segments leading up to that show. On top of that, a report came out right before the draft saying that there were high levels of people talking about splitting them up, and they didn't do it last minute. And it was going to be Bianca Belair and Montez Ford on Raw, and SmackDown D'Angelo Dawkins. And I think with them coming out and saying goodbye to the New Day, basically, it was a thing of you didn't know. I think they're going to turn heel at some point. It just my thought. It feels like they're going to turn heel at some point, and it feels like they're going to have a breakup within this next year or so, because they do have a lot of stock into Montez Ford. You don't give Montez Ford that type of that type of time per se, without being like, oh, this guy can go. And they're searching clear. Raw is HBCU Raw, as Kaz called it. It is It is homecoming. This is Black College Raw. Like, so this is gonna be that, man. Besides Hit Row should have went to Raw, but I'm happy they're on SmackDown because SmackDown is the A show. And if you didn't know, now you know.
And maybe Montez Ford is a high pick in next year's draft.
Definitely.
But who do you think, Jimmy? Who do you think had the best pick? I know there were a lot of picks, but who do you think was the best pick of the draft? We could maybe throw that up just so you have a reference.
I mean, how do you not say SmackDown with Roman Reigns?
What?
That, I mean,
should there be like a rule? It shouldn't be someone that's staying on the same brand. Maybe
I should mute myself. Okay, continue. Go ahead.
I mean, this is tough because there's so many different factors, but just off the top of my head, I'm just gonna go with Becky to Raw. Because like I feel like putting her on SmackDown was, when she came back was mainly to keep her with Seth, I'm assuming. So putting her back on Raw as kind of a spotlight is really going to help the women's division there. I'm hoping, just to mix it up because I'm tired of the whole entire Charlotte Alexa thing. So yeah, that needs to be done and over with.
Neeson, what do you think? Who do you think was the best pick of the draft?
Look, I'm gonna throw this laundry list up right here.
It's a lot.
You know WWE's roster is huge, but you don't realize how big it is until like you see all the names listed. But honestly, man, I think the biggest pick is gonna be SmackDown and Hit Row, as I alluded to earlier. I think Hit Row, they were instantly a main event or main roster gimmick soon as we seen it. And now with him having a North America, Swerve Scott having a North America championship, then bringing him up, Top Dollar being basically like the mic man, which I think this is going to be really, really interesting. People that followed them from NXT to SmackDown, because it looks like they're trying to make Top Dollar out of everybody out of that group. And we know that Isaiah Swerve Scott is not going to take that line down. So I'm very interested to see what they bring to the SmackDown into Fox. It's so much potential. It's so much potential. That is my winner for
it shows.
Winner
It shows the faith that they have in that group to put them on the A show.
Absolutely.
That's just me. Justin, who do you think? What was I have an interesting one, but I want to hear yours first.
Is it okay? So, but is this more about the most shocking or the one that I thought was the best?
Just the one you thought was the best.
So the one that I kind of think was the best, and I think I'm gonna go with someone that's someone that I think is very relevant right now, but might be like kind of out there, like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that, was because it's really easy to think like Charlotte, Sasha, even Drew, like great picks for a SmackDown and are gonna enhance a show, but just the way they finally have been booking Shayna Baszler on Raw in the last couple of weeks, and now she's on SmackDown with Charlotte, with Sasha, with a solid top card there that she can work with. And if you dominate two of the four horsewomen and those two, that's something there with Shayna. And that's that tournament coming up, there's something there with Shayna.
I think it's also great just because, it is on Fox and we know the whole deal with UFC, so it's a familiar name MMA wise. So I think it's smart that they're finally doing something with her. I mean, doing something with her in a singles capacity.
Way more potential for her on that brand right now.
Yeah.
Especially the way she's been booked just the last few weeks.
So my best pick, it hinders on something. I'm not making a Jinder Mahal joke.
I was about to say.
It hinders on
one thing. SmackDown, the Maharaja is coming back to his brand.
Well, yeah, that's fine. I love that. I don't love that they split them up, though. That seems weird.
So are you saying they decided to veer in the incorrect direction?
Yeah,
kind of. It was a little shanky.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. My okay. So I think maybe the best pick that has the most potential if they drop the gimmick this person is under is T-Bar.
Yeah.
I thought about that the moment they got drafted separately. I'm like, yeah.
I think having him drop it, he already said, looks like I'm on my own. Feast your eyes.
Feast your eyes.
I think he could be a big player on Raw if they bring him back to being Dominic Dijakovic. I think that would be great. I could really see him making a run at the United States Championship. Yep, that's the right brand, is it? Yeah, that's the right one. Yeah. I could see him making a run at the mid card title for sure. I think he has a lot of potential, especially if they just let him be Dominic Dijakovic. That might be like a sleeper pick more than the best pick, but I think it fits in there. Did anybody shock you? You were like, whoa, they moved to this brand. Justin. All right, go ahead.
I really, at no point when we heard about the draft months ago, thought Bianca was going to Raw. Am I the one?
Really?
I actually no. I was like, wait, because the whole time I thought we're gonna have Charlotte, Sasha, and Bianca on SmackDown. Becky will go to Raw. I never thought Bianca was going to Raw. I thought Fox loved Bianca.
Of course, but it's your time. But yeah, I mean,
no, go ahead. That's my thing. That's it. I just didn't see, like, that was the only one I was like, wait, Bianca's going to, like, and that was right off the bat. That was like in the first round. So I think I knew Charlotte was kind of going over there. And like I said in the prediction thing that I did for that hashtag show, I want to see Charlotte and Bianca at WrestleMania, but then Bianca went to Raw, which I'm not saying it's impossible to still happen. It can, but threw me off a little bit. Threw me a little off my game.
Yeah, they could run it back again for sure.
Yeah.
I guess you said the question was shocking, right?
Like who shot? Like, or like you were surprised by, like, oh, I didn't know that they would get. And I'm looking at the list, and I'll just say, like, nothing here really. I'm not shocked by anything.
I will say this, and
Ken brings up a good point in the chat there. Rich Holland was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, Rich Holland was a surprise. I think the shocking one, I guess the shocking pick to me, was splitting up Tegan Nox and Shotzi, making Tegan go to Raw and Shotzi go to SmackDown. I thought that really, I understand. I get it that, these two women are definitely capable of handling their own singles, having their own singles career. But I will say this, there is no women's tag division. So why would you break up a team that you built up, at least for the last couple of months, just to put them on separate brands, just to win, for them to win, to have a chance to fight for the tag team titles, and then not even give them the tag team titles? I don't understand it. It confused me. That was probably my most shocking. What the just happened? And it didn't even happen on TV. So therefore, help me understand.
I'm going to go with Neeson on that one, because not only did we find out that Tegan and Shotzi were being split up, but at the same time, we found out that Tamina and Natty were split up too, which that was two tag teams you split up for no reason at all. And like he said, we now legitimately have no women's tag teams. Unless now you're just going to randomly put Doudrop and Dana Brooke together because of what happened on Monday. Like, that's pretty much it. But
I guess.
But the entire reason that, you had Shotzi and Tegan come out on SmackDown against Super Brutality was to hint at a feud, and now that's not even happening.
I mean, what do they even do to save this division at this point? Do they just have Medusa throw the titles in the garbage can and call it a day? Like, what do we do? I
mean, neither women's tag titles have amounted to anything, unfortunately. The only time they meant something was last summer when Bayley and Sasha had them.
That was like the last time they meant something.
And to your question, what do they do? Look, to your point of Shayna Baszler, Justin, Shayna Baszler is on Fox. Pingu, you brought it up, the UFC. Rhonda just said she broke both of her hands, but she can't wait to get back training. She just had her kid. She's getting back training very soon. You have two of the four UFC horsewomen right on Fox. You have Bayley, Charlotte, Sasha on Fox. There is nothing. there is nothing but a one brand. What is it? The 4 times a quarter happens brand invitational tribute triumph wild card thing. This is happening, and I think we're more closer to this than anything. But what you do is you take those tag team titles you put them on somebody like a Bailey and Sasha again, or you put them on somebody like a Sasha and Charlotte, whatever your top stars are, a Bianca and whoever, because it's also women's division is getting crazy right now with these titles, which Bailey has a SmackDown title on Raw, Charlotte has the Raw title with that. This is gonna get nuts. But this is how you build those up. You put those up, and then now you put women. You put these women that don't have quote unquote gimmicks are being pushed. A Toni Storm, Aaliyah.
Aaliyah.
What's her name? Zelina Vega. You have Zelina Vega, Liv Morgan, all these Liv Morgan,
Xia Li,
Xia Li. You have all these women right now that are single stars. Hey, let's do what you did with Shotzi and Tegan. But let's actually make it mean something this time. Let's do what you did with Nia and Tamina, but let's make it mean something this time. Because now you have these women that no one really knows on the main roster. Like you go ask a 7-year-old kid who's Xia Li, they're gonna be like, "What?"
Yeah, that's also weird because I feel like they were still doing the whole angle with them in NXT, right?
Well, we know they don't care what's happening in NXT.
Whoa. NXT 2.0.
I'm sorry, 2.0.
PG is the most greatest.
We'll get there. But you have Neeson's point, though. Neeson does have a point. The thing that WWE has done is they've done really well of putting teams together. Like they did it with Natalya and Tamina and it worked. They did it with Shotzi and Nox, how they brought them up and it worked. They did it with Mandy and Dana for a bit and it was working, you know, like when they get desperate, they can put teams together. Not all of them click that great because I really don't care about Rhea and Nikki Ash, but it's just hoping they can stick with the teams they put together moving forward now up until at least the next draft. Because there's now that he dropped all those names, I'm like, oh yeah, there is a lot of women and they could get together and be like, hey, well, let's go after those titles, you know?
Yeah.
Pingle, before we move on, Justin said there's a lot of women, and we talked about there's a lot of women, but there's really not. Like, we look at this list, and I remember I saw this list, and I was like, how does the roster still feel lacking of women? Because let's say you do, and maybe in my mind, and I want to toss it to you guys, maybe in my mind, I was thinking because tag teams, but if you look, you have on the Raw roster, you have beyond going down the list real quick. It's gonna be quick. Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, skip, Doudrop, skip.
Raw has 13 women. I just counted that.
Bianca, Carmella, Tegan Nox, Tamina, Rhea Ripley.
But
I mean, you could put Zelina and Carmella back together.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you put, if you make 2 teams out of that 13, right? Like that leaves 9 people. That means, okay, well then you don't have enough to make compelling storylines.
I don't know. I feel like, honestly, if we're just being truthful, if they don't think that, I think that's just fucking lazy on their part.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like they have enough, like,
because they have a ton of men and they still can't make teams.
Yeah, when we had SmackDown, when we first had the brand split, we had SmackDown. The first SmackDown pay-per-view had 3 women's matches, and they were all like storyline driven. And I was like, "This is amazing! I can't believe that we're actually doing this." And then it was kind of all downhill from there. But at least they tried and did it, so it is possible. We've seen it's possible. Mm-hmm. And I think 13 is. They got 3 hours on Raw. Let's go. Let's do something.
I would hope. I mean, I think this Queen of the Ring will be a time to set everybody, to reset everybody. Our Queen of the Crown. I think it'll be time to reset everybody. So hopefully with that, but that was my first thoughts of like, come on, man. Like, you should never release a female wrestler ever in this company because you guys could use all of them. Yeah.
And I know also, like with NXT, I think they want the turnover, like 6 months in NXT and you're coming up. We could see a lot of that with some of the women's wrestlers as well. Just that 6 months and you're coming up. And some of them, I assume Frankie's not long for NXT. I assume.
Cade isn't. What's her name? Cade Jade?
Cora Jade?
What's his name's girl? Like she's on
Carrie Baxter.
She is on to the hot. She has a rocket. strapped.
He has a
Strap.
skateboard and that rocket strap behind him.
She got everything. All right. Well, I mean, we've been talking about NXT a little bit. I'm sorry, NXT 2.0. It's been a couple of weeks since the rebrand. Justin, how are you feeling?
The same way I felt at the beginning. To me, it reminds me of Saturday morning post-cartoon wrestling because the colors. It's enjoyable, it's digestible. I just can't really take anything seriously because of it. And then on the flip side, I think it became what NXT became from 2015 to 2020 was it became WWE's independent promotion rather than a development promotion. And then being someone that also watched NXT post game show 2012 to 2015, I feel like if they went back to that format of we're going to introduce big, that's where the boss was introduced. That's where, we're introduced to all these over the top characters that these people are trying out. And I think the vaudevillains, all these characters. And I feel like they've gone back to introducing these characters and trying to get these characters over and then bringing them to the main roster. It's almost like they're okay, enough with the WWE's indie promotion, bringing guys from other independent promotions that are very seasoned and know what they're doing already, and letting them kind of be themselves, but learning a WWE style. No, we're going to bring people in and we're going to teach them how to be our style and introduce their characters. And we went back to that. So I miss what it was, obviously, but I also feel like this is what it was prior to that. And my only issues is the fact that there's certain segments where the logo on the back changes colors and it'll be purple and gold, or it'll be Ciampa's eyes in there or something. I'm literally any other color scheme outside of this splotty color stuff would have made this feel less of a Saturday morning wrestling program. And the last thing I was gonna say is the crowd at the PC is not the Full Sail crowd, and it does not help at all either. That's it.
Interesting. Jimmy, how you feeling? It's been a couple of weeks. The original Hot Topic is now the modern day Hot Topic, and it's all bright and feels weird, and it smells fine. It doesn't smell like incense. How you feeling?
I mean, like Justin said, this is very reminiscent of the Hulu days of NXT, as I like to call it, before the network. Also, to me, it just feels like the Hulu NXT days mixed with FCW. So what we have now is basically the same way where we saw Mike Dalton become a Tyler Breeze or a Leo Kruger become an Adam Rose. This is where we are now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Joe Gacy become this weird, accepting guy or whatever, and then he goes back to his hardcore gimmick. This could be any guy can go in, or anyone can go in any direction at this point. They're just trying to see what sticks to the wall, with the exception of maybe Braun Breaker or Rex Steiner. They're just strapping the rocket on that guy too. He already has a main event takeover match. That's wild to me. I'm kind of on the fence. I'm interested in seeing where this is going, but at the same time, I'm disappointed this isn't the NXT that we all came to grow and love.
Yeah, and I mean, with that, that NXT, it seemed like a lot of the stuff they were throwing at the wall was sticking, and we really loved it. Neeson, is there anything that they've thrown at the wall that you're just man, I that needs to unstick immediately? Or is there some stuff that you're okay, I dig this, and I'm ready to see where they go from here?
Well, if you know the song Ben by Michael Jackson, I sing that every day to this picture. Ben, the two of us, we live no more. Such a time, guys. Well, you're fine a friend of me. Okay, so look, I think the good things are you have Mandy Rhodes leading a stable and it looks great. I think that's an amazing thing. The bad things are stop sticking with MSK as faces. Either turn them heels or move them to the main roster where they get appreciated. It's clear that PC crowd does not care for them, and that is not due to their fault, to be honest. That's due to them putting them up against Phantasma and all of them, and them being super over. So that is not their fault whatsoever. So it's just things like that, man. Braun Breaker, like was mentioned by Jimmy, amazing. He honestly, give him the title at Halloween Havoc. Just give it to him, to be honest. Like
Wow.
he the way he came out and cut this promo today on talking about he has the biggest balls back for everybody back there. Give it to him. But Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, these guys need to get out of there. Like they need to go. Like and yeah, it's such a and oh, I'm sorry, Pete Dunne. Like there's such a drastic difference when they come on and they work and it just feels like they don't fit. So allow those guys to go, man. At least put them on the main roster for the remaining of their contracts and just allow them to go. Allow NXT to be when Seth Rollins beat Jinder Mahal. Like they have the same camera angles from that. Allow NXT to be when you had Ike, I forgot Roman Reigns' name when he was coming down in trunks.
Leaki.
Like have him do that because that's the NXT we're looking at. And hey, man, I'm sucking it up. I'm trying to roll with it. But when I tell you, I cry every time we talk about NXT because this era was the best era of NXT.
But you have a point. I do think a lot of those older guys need to be there. I mean, older NXT guys, not older in age, but like the veterans of NXT need to be there. The same way that like Tyson Kidd and Natalia guys were down in NXT in the early days. But them to be there full time is really weird. It feels weird. You're right. Because like when they come out, it feels like they don't fit in this new like environment. It's odd. Like Ciampa with all these colors around him feels weird. And like even tonight when Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne came out, I'm like, wait a minute, why didn't Pete get drafted? Why did Ridge get like threw me off?
I mean, that's one thing I was going to ask. We mentioned those 4 names. Were you surprised that none of those 4 names were called and that they're just kind of hanging out in this new NXT where they feel a little out of place?
So, well, first of all, Jimmy, he should just not be with the company. I don't understand why he's there, but that's a whole nother conversation and another time. Johnny Gargano was the guy. Me and Pico talked about it today. I thought Johnny Gargano was going to be the guy to get called up around this time. And I said, if he doesn't get called up, that means he's not signing that contract. Or he already told him, I'm not signing that contract in December. So, guys, I think that was my big thing because what do? You put Johnny Gargano on SmackDown. You have him go right away against Roman Reigns, have him lose, and you give him the AJ Styles treatment. You put him, you hot shot him, have him lose, and then you have him build himself back up and be the new pit bull dog, however you like to describe it, fighting from underneath. Because if one thing that man has is charisma and able to tell a story, and he's damn sure entertaining, and he could make anybody in that ring look amazing.
I'm very excited to pre-order my whole shebang AEW shirt.
Huh?
No, but I mean, was anybody else shocked that none of those names were called in the draft?
100%. Like I said, the Pete Dunne one really threw me off because I feel like he's been down there for a while and you've taken away most of his stable and
he just signed.
And and he just signed. So like he would fit perfectly on Raw or SmackDown. Like he'd make an impact on either one of those shows. Ciampa's a champion, so I kind of didn't see that one coming. I feel like they want to keep him there to work with those younger guys, so that one didn't shock me too much. Gargano is great. I always feared that they wouldn't know what to do with him on the main roster, personally. I think his size would be a problem for them up there. They would let him do something like work with Roman, then he's gonna fall around somewhere else. And like there's a reason why he was the heart and soul of NXT. I remember when they got drafted initially, when Aleister Black, Ricochet, Ciampa, and Gargano all got called up. I was scared then too. I don't know.
We never got to see what it was.
Yeah, because happy
Ciampa
accident. Ciampa got hurt. They went back to NXT. Look what happened to Tommy End and Ricochet.
Yeah,
you know, like, and it would worry me a little bit. So yeah, I think Pete Dunne was probably the biggest shocker to me, and like even Kyle O'Reilly, because I saw Kyle O'Reilly today, and I'm like, he could have killed it on the main roster too.
Kyle O'Reilly's
he
a
kind of
SmackDown
feels.
star waiting to happen.
Pardon?
He's a SmackDown star waiting to happen.
Yeah, and he
fits
kind of
that mold. That
and-
Fox
SmackDown
mold.
star, that's not gonna happen. That's what's
and
gonna happen.
he's very relatable. Like he seems a really relatable person. I think fans will relate
Yeah.
to him like they kind of related with Bryan Danielson. Now I'm still getting used to saying that again. How they related to Bryan Danielson. He was kind of a relatable person that was a really good wrestler, and I think that's where Kyle O'Reilly would fall into. But yeah, Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne are probably the two most shocking ones that didn't get called up.
All right. It's Tuesday. I forgot it was Tuesday. I thought it was Wednesday. So I was like, great. We get to find out who the Joker is. But lucky for us, we can talk about who we think the Joker is going to be. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there it is. It's going to be Jim from The Office. Yeah, I don't know if this is the main event. It's going to be huge, whoever the Joker is. But the winner gets a world title match. We've got Pac, Andrade, Moxley, Archer, Cassidy, Hardy, and the Joker. Rumors have been circulating. A lot of names have been going around. But I ask you guys, Jimmy, who is the Joker?
I'm going to be going with Buddy Matthews. We know he's free of his contract now. He's already been doing some indie dates, and I think he's a great get. Personally speaking, I hope we get to see this guy at Bola. Don't know if that'll happen or not, but yeah, I'm just going to go with Buddy Matthews for the Joker.
All right, let's go with Justin. Justin, do you think it's also going to be Buddy Matthews, or do you think it could be somebody else?
That's a really good. I actually have no idea. I haven't even heard the rumors. I know there was a Joker. I know the match was booked. But I'm like, I actually can't think of anybody. Like they've already introduced Leo Rush again. I heard that they didn't want Buddy Matthews. I don't know if that was true or not, but obviously that could just been like
A smoke screen.
Take us off path or whatnot. I don't think this is a place you introduce Wyndham Rotunda. I don't think this is where you bring him in. This is not the spot. So I don't know. Could it be like Stephen Amell? Just throw him in there for fun? I have no idea.
Oh, wow. What? I haven't even heard that one. That one's a good one. I've got a really good one, but I will hold my tongue until I hear what Neeson has to say.
Well, you know what I'm gonna say, baby. Cowboy shit. Yes, I think if you want to bring Hangman back, and the best way to hotshot him into the main event card, and respectfully so, you have him come back as a Joker. You have him win. I think everybody in this match already either has something going, or it just won't look right with Matt Hardy going against Kenny Omega. It's not really a money draw, guys. Big money Matt. Sorry. But Hangman Page, I think with Adam Cole coming back, Hangman, I think this is the time, and it is not a coincidence that they found a sign that said, "We miss you, Hangman," and they ripped it up. Those dastardly young bucks. But Pingle.
That's brilliant, though. I actually really like
so
that.
Ken just played my card in the chat, but I heard a little rumor that somebody canceled a Tuesday appearance and a Wednesday appearance, and that would be we would need to breathe in with the Switchblade, because I've heard that Jay White's name has been thrown around a little bit here, and I would love that, because that would kick the door open a little further. We could get some interesting Elite Bullet Club, another one. We already had Kenta. I think that would be awesome. I think that would be a cool surprise. Would it be as cool as the pop Hangman would get if he was the Joker? I don't think so. But I would love to see Jay White in AEW. I think that would be very, very cool. Brother Switchblade.
I like both of those. I like Hangman and Jay White.
King Switch.
I think that's great, but how do you make him again? And we all transparency. We talked about this earlier. How do you make the crowd cheer Switchblade and boo Kenny, or is just AEW that smart of a crowd where they're just
that's if I don't think the joke is necessarily means the joke is going to win, though.
Right, but I think Neeson and I had touched on this earlier today. Every Joker, I think, has won the ladder match at least.
correct.
What ladder match was Scorpio Sky?
Oh, Scorpio. Nope, that was wasn't Leo Rush in that one?
No, that was
the brass ring.
Royal. Was it Ethan Page?
It was Ethan Page.
Yeah, and Leo Rush didn't win the Battle Royal he was in.
Yeah,
we were talking about ladder matches. But I forgot
Scorpio won that one.
Scorpio won that ladder match.
So they don't necessarily. And then with Switchblade in there, you could tease. We know how much Moxie's loving to work with the Japan guys. You could tease a Moxie Switchblade thing. You can tease something else. Like he can still tease something.
I also
the Hangman thing is my favorite one, to be honest with you, because
the Hangman one's great.
Like, you get him to that title picture where we wanted him to be at All Out anyway.
Yeah.
So.
But I think it's Mike says may not translate, but Impact Zone was super behind Switchblade. I mean, we'll see. I think it'd be a good pop. I think it would further. They could do some being the elite stuff with that, just to further that a little more, and they could. I think ultimately down the line we do get a Bullet Club elite, like maybe Blood and Guts.
I mean, at this point, we already know that Chris Bay has been inducted into the Bullet Club as far as the American side. So you throw in Kenta, Jay White, Hikuleu, and Bay, who we know have all done either AEW and or Impact, and there's part of your Blood and Guts team already.
Listen, man, I already see a scenario where Elite tries to welcome in Jay White, and this would have to happen down the line, and Young Bucks get jumped by Guerrillas of Destiny.
Ooh,
that would be hot. Ooh. And New Japan, listen, New Japan needs something like this right now.
They need it.
I think that would be amazing. You know what? I don't even want to bring this into existence.
I was gonna say, does that mean we should? Does that mean at some point Chase Owens is going to be all elite?
Oh, no. The one thing I don't want to bring into existence.
You know what?
Do we know?
You know what it is. Well, you know it.
Do we know the exact location of where Will Ospreay
say it, Ospreay? Yeah, I knew you was gonna say it. I knew it.
Wait, do you not like Will Ospreay?
We don't know exactly
Will
where Will Ospreay is, and I think if I had to be a betting man, I'll put some money on Will Ospreay because I understand people don't like him, but that is one name that pops up over here, and the crowd will go apeshit for.
That would be that would be huge.
Yeah,
he hasn't done anything stateside yet, has he?
He has.
Has he? Okay.
Yeah, he was in Texas for their show, and he got he has a new member of his
the Empire
stable. It's Empire. It's TJP apparently. I mean, it makes sense, right? Look at your reaction. Look how upset you are. Yeah, I was too. Would it make sense? A lot of possibilities here. A lot of possibilities. It's gonna be Will Ospreay.
I think.
Punk recently said he wanted to work with Will Ospreay too. He said it on the Unrestricted.
Oh crap, man!
I'm telling you, I think
we can talk off air about why I don't like him.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. This will come back around for sure, but yeah.
Ugh.
It's okay. It's okay, Pink.
I still like the Hangman and the Switchblade thing, though. I mess with both those ideas.
I think, yeah. Do we all think it like the most likely is Hangman coming back, getting that pop?
Storyline wise, logic wise, that makes like complete sense. And you want to put him with Kenny. Like that's what we've been waiting for since he started splitting from the Elite 2 years ago and everything. Like that's the story. I feel like we had to take a pause because he was having a baby. And then we put in Brian in that spot and Christian and all that stuff. But like we know we want Kenny and Hangman. Like that has to be the payoff with Hangman, in my mind, going over. And
now is that Full Gear?
I think so. And why not? Then we have 4 pay-per-views a year. Why not?
Hold on.
Wait, guys. We're pulling all these cards. We're
Joker
pulling all the
cards.
cards. Yeah, exactly. But there's a person right in our faces that we could actually hot shot to an actual title shot with this win.
Are you gonna do this thing?
You're gonna send me the poster?
I would never do that.
They have been teasing. They have been teasing Omega being scared of Adam Cole being more over than him on.
I also think
I'm gonna put a +4 down.
Oh.
And what I'm gonna say to that +4 is I'm gonna choose a color, and the color is gonna be a white T-shirt.
No.
Bryan Danielson is right there, guys. He is right there for a title shot. We just had a draw, and he said he's like they're never gonna get a match again. How do we get him a match again? He wins the ladder match, and now he has to fight. Now he has to put up the title.
Aren't
now
they
he has to
8-man tag though on the same night? I mean, it could happen.
It can happen.
It could happen.
I think. I mean, this is why I'm like, well, I know we're reaching for like a surprise thing, but honestly, it could be somebody right there. If it's not Hangman or not the Osprey. Breeze. Breeze should be the Joker.
I want the Tyler Breeze.
Could be.
It might be Dango. Dirty
We
Dango.
know Dango's getting there.
Dirty Dango.
Dango.
CW.
Choose a color. Choose a color.
I mean, another name we didn't mention was I mentioned
Magenta.
it earlier to you was Jonah Rock.
Ooh, yeah.
That could be good too. Yeah, I think wow, a lot of good names have been thrown around. And now, I mean, like, even if it is, man, God.
When Bryan and Omega touch again, though, I don't think they necessarily need the title involved.
Oh no, that's a money. When they touch again, it's for sure going to be for a title.
That's all.
I think Hangman wins that belt to full again. In Revolution, you get Bryan Omega too.
If Hangman wins,
For the belt,
yeah. If Hangman, that's what I'm saying. If Hangman win, if Hangman's a Joker, then yeah, like it's. But you're gonna get.
You give a reason for Adam Cole to go after that belt now, and then you get Hangman Cole, and then you have Bryan Omega on the same card. That's our.
We have a whole list. We have a whole thing. We have a whole thing about Adam Cole. But you know,
being bigger than the Elite, seeming like he's just so much more polished and different than the rest of them these days. Just does not fit in. When he comes out alone, you're like, hell yeah. But when he's with the rest of them, you're like, what is he doing with them? What? I get it. It makes sense. It's familiar. But why does he just feel so much more like there's Adam Cole and there's the Elite? It's weird. It's weird.
Huh. That's a good point. It's a good point. We're going to end the show with talking about Adam Cole. Let's talk about Adam Cole for a little bit. Bring the poster up a bit. I mean, you already started talking about him, so we might as well. So you say he feels too big for the Elite?
I don't know if it's because out of everyone in that group, outside of the Good Brothers, which I love the Good Brothers. They're dope. They're great. They're funny as hell. Just feels so irrelevant. There was even like that first promo where Adam Cole forgot to even say anything about them when he was putting over the Elite. Like, yeah, it's not a knock at them, but they do feel like background people when it comes to the Elite holding the Impact Championships, which is no disrespect to them. So now you break it down to, and we're not going to talk about Brandon Cutler and Nakazawa. They're also the stand-in. Let's break it down to the Young Bucks, Kenny and Adam Cole. I love the Young Bucks. I think they're great. I've grew to love them over the years. I enjoy their matches. I think what they do is awesome. But anytime they're around either Kenny or Adam Cole, I feel like they kind of just make them feel a little bit more goofy and like as wrestling's a joke rather than taking wrestling seriously. When Kenny Omega came out with Don Callis to have that promo with Bryan Danielson, that was the most legit and real that I took Kenny Omega because he wasn't surrounded by the Young Bucks and the rest of the crew. When Adam Cole comes out to have a match by himself against Jungle Boy or against Kazarian or whatever, when he comes up by himself, I'm like, damn, that's Adam Cole. You put him with the rest of the guys, they seem like a group of friends that think wrestling is a joke and we're just here to have a good time. And I feel like it brings him down. The other thing about Adam Cole is that he went through the system. And as much as we hate the WWE, or like, no, I don't. I know you guys don't, but there is that I'm AEW, I'm WWE. As much as those people think like anti-WWE, the fact that he went through that system Yes, he's an indie guy like those guys. Yes, I remember the Young Bucks and Adam Cole and PWG and their stuff in Ring of Honor. And I remember all that too. And the kissing the cheeks. Like, I remember all that, but he feels like he's beyond that now. He's gone through the system. And as much as Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are great, they never went through that system to that extent. Adam Cole seems polished. He seems like he understands how to work those cameras, how to work
he's a
the
TV
crowd,
star.
He understands how to be a TV star, while those guys are good independent wrestling TV stars that came through that system, but he came through a different polished system. There's a reason why when we see a CM Punk, a Bryan Danielson, that they come off feeling different, because as much as they want to, Bryan loves the WWE, but as much as Punk has his beef or whatever, they all went through that system and they kind of get it to a different level now. Adam Cole just comes off like he gets it more than the rest of those guys. There was a promo they did recently where Kenny
How
Omega,
long are you going to bury the rest of the elite, Justin? Jesus Christ.
Recently, where they were all in the ring and Kenny Omega with the championship was standing in the back. And Adam Cole was standing front and center and cut the first promo. He's the champion. He should be standing front, middle, center at all points. But he's not. Adam Cole just feels more polished in my mind. It's that NXT system. He's got that shine on him now. And he's just shining a little brighter when he's not around them. And when he's with them, you're kind of like, when is he going to super kick Kenny Omega? When is this going to happen?
So I think, like, question to the group, do you think Adam Cole goes on his own, or do you think the elite turns on Kenny Omega?
I'm going to give it to you guys.
Kick him out. That would be another interesting wrinkle to any sort of story between Hangman and Kenny, because if they kick out Kenny after, I assume, he loses the title, I assume there's just going to be some backstage Hangman with the belt just drinking a beer, just being like, just walking away. But do we think that happens? Do we think they kick out Cole, or do they stay with Omega?
It's too many egos, guys. Think about it. Too many egos.
I mean, I feel like at some point you got to have Cole on his own, because we've already seen the story of him being the leader of a really dominant faction. So why do we need to rehash that? I think he can go off on his own, whether he be heel or face, because let's be honest, at any point, the elite can turn face. Cole will have to go out on his own. Kenny can go out on his own too, but I don't feel like it's as feasible as Cole.
Neeson, how long do you think they can keep Adam Cole in this? Listen, he's just kind of dipping his toe into AEW right now. He's, we're seeing all the dream matches, but how long do you think until he is hashtag top guy?
Well, I mean, if we go by Justin's measurements of him just burying everyone in the elite, saying they're indie stars, like the ridiculousness of that burial that you just had, my God,
those men,
my God. I think as long as it takes for Hangman to come back. So Hangman is the out for Adam Cole, meaning he will be the one that's going to pull Adam Cole out of the elite with having one-on-one main event matches with him, etc., etc. And then I'm sure in some sort of storyline, it's going to be, like, they killed you. like, they killed you, and they're going to reveal it. And then it's not even going to be it's going to be Kenny killed you. And we're going to see the super click be its own thing. And it's going to break away from the elite, and Kenny will have Don, and he could have, probably like another minion. But I think that's going to be the catalyst. I think Hangman is going to be the guy to kill the elite and to make Adam Cole go a separate way, and etc. But let's not fret, guys. Adam Cole is the top guy, period. Like, he's already a top guy. He doesn't need a title. When he does get the title, it's going to be something that's big and gargantuan, but we could have major matches with him versus Punk, versus Daniel Bryan, versus a Hangman Adam Page, versus Darby Allin, versus that whole roster of people, MJF, Chris Jericho, etc., etc. So it's so much things that you guys said about it. Adam Cole being leading. We already seen it, him leading a faction, but we didn't see it in AEW. So did we really see it? No.
One of those members of his faction will be there tomorrow
exactly.
night.
Do you think they tease anything? Do you think Bobby Fish is
there? Has to be an interaction.
What do you do with these guys? And Adam
has to be an interaction that the elite go, "What? Why are you talking to that guy?" It has to be something like that.
And then there's the plan to see, because they've been planting seeds. Like I said on BT, they've already planted seeds that Kenny is insecure that Adam Cole's more over than him. He's already insecure about it.
It'll probably be where have you been for the last 4 years? I don't know. Where have you been for the last 4 years? I don't know. Like people say I've been dead. Like, I don't know, like that sort of thing. So if you guys watch BTE, that's been the thing on BTE.
Oh yeah, maybe if we don't get the interaction on Dynamite per se, we'll maybe get a Bobby Fish Adam Cole interaction on BT for sure.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. They've also been leading, with Cole looking for Hangman. It's like, hey, where's Hangman? Let's go grab a beer.
Have been. You're right. What happened to Hangman? They kept saying, don't tell him.
That's another wrinkle to that.
That's true.
Another wrinkle to that. All right, guys, we're gonna try and end the show here on a new note. We're a new segment that we have no graphics for.
Over 260,000 TV shows, including Game of Thrones, which was filmed in Dubai.
What is that?
Yes.
Somebody's Siri is
Alexa, stop.
Oh, Alexa.
Did I trigger your Alexa?
Come down.
Wow.
Hey Alexa, what is Jimmy listening to? You only likes your voice.
I don't have an answer for
Oh
that.
shit.
Got him.
Oh,
all right.
No.
We're going to add on a segment we like to call hashtag of the week. Each of you will get 1 minute, not timed, but maybe.
I'm timing.
He's timing it. He's
I got
timing it to tell the people why they should get behind your hashtag for this week. And we will start with Jimmy. What is your hashtag for the week?
Hold on. All right.
Well, mine is a general hashtag that's probably already being used, but I want to speak on this anyway. So I was originally against this, and I was like, what are they doing? They're kind of wasting their time with it. But my hashtag is hashtag toxic attraction, because I am now fully on board everything they're doing with Mandy Rose. I was like, what are they doing? Why'd they bring her back down there? Why are they putting her with Priscilla Kelly and JC Jane? But I'm fully behind it now. Like, I think what they're doing is actually good. I can see this leading to all three of them debuting at the Women's Royal Rumble. And hashtag toxic attraction.
All right. Pretty good hashtag. Justin, what do you got?
So mine's not gonna be that long either, but just because I guess you guys didn't do a show on Sunday, so we haven't really touched on it. But one of my favorite things from this week was hashtag Glock Anderson, because Arn Anderson's pulling out that Glock and splattering some brains on the cement, while Cody Rhodes is just a loser. The memes, everything about it was hilarious. Anything I saw about it after the fact was funny. Arn Anderson fully redeemed himself after falling off the apron the week prior, coming back the next week, pulling a Glock Anderson and cutting a old school Arn Anderson promo. And guys, and if you thought that was like weird or where did that come from, go listen to old school Arn Anderson.
That ain't nothing.
The same guy that says, you send one of our guys to the hospital, we send one of them to the morgue. Like, that's Arn Anderson. That's double A.
It's also Armed Anderson. So.
Armed Anderson. But, I saw the meme where it's like Brock Anderson and Glock Anderson, and that made me laugh. So hashtag Glock Anderson, and I feel like you'll know what I'm talking about if you just go on Twitter a little bit and search Arn Anderson, because the jokes have been rolling in for days now.
All right. Right on time. Look at that. Neeson, what do you got for a hashtag for us?
All right. So my hashtag for this week, we seen Hit Row get drafted to SmackDown. We also seen another name which surprised me as well to get drafted to SmackDown, and that's Ricochet. And so I really want to see, and it's going to be hashtag Ricochet versus Swerve. And I think that a best out of 7, best out of 5 match, that's going to get both of those guys to the next level as far as notoriety, as far as familiarity with the moves, with the names of their moves, or whatever the case may be. It'll just show what each individual athlete can do. And that's something, soon as I seen that they're both on the same roster, give me more, give me all of it. Hashtag Ricochet versus Swerve Scott.
Do we know if they even face each other at all in Lucha Underground? I mean, I feel like I should know, but 4 seasons, I'm blanking.
Sure.
I don't remember. But that was the first thing that I saw. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, let's do it.
I'm so happy for Swerve.
Yeah, that should be a match that's happening. If anything, at some point for the IC title, if possible.
Have they even seen a Bearcat? Well, I mean, that might be the winner. No, I think for me, my hashtag of the week is Fightland.
Yeah. Speaking of Lucha Underground,
MLW debuting on Vice TV on Thursday, 10 p.m. Guys, if you haven't watched MLW, they do a lot of great things, and I'm excited that they have a TV deal so they can show more eyes what they're doing. And we've got Jacob Fatu versus Hammerstone as the main event. You can't really go wrong with that. So, I mean, if you're somehow still looking for more wrestling to watch, I would go check out MLW on Vice TV. Hashtag Fightland.
Hammerstone versus Fatu. Big meaty men slapping meat.
Absolutely.
Well, the WWE couldn't get that trademarked, and I'm very sad about that because that would have been a shirt I would have bought.
Oh my goodness. All right, I can smell. Oh boy, guys, my favorite thing besides the sport of professional wrestling is when I'm watching MLB Game Day, and Jimmy probably knows what I'm talking about. You see the little blue ball, and what does it say next to it? In play runs. Oh my goodness, Red Sox trouncing on those Yankees. Get them out of here.
All right,
Get 'em
all
out.
right. Cheering for a Boston team. It's going a little too far, guys.
Yeah, I have no horse in this race anymore. So
The Yankees? You cheering for the Yankees?
Well, I would rather cheer for the Yankees than any
No,
Boston team. I don't
no,
care if you're the Bruins.
no,
I don't care if you're the
no.
Red Sox. I don't care
This
if
is
you're
incorrect. This is
the
an
Boston
incorrect.
Celtics. I don't care if you're the what are their B teams? I don't care. I don't care if you're Boston College. Okay, like you are trash. If you're from Boston or if you're in Boston, you are trash. Okay, you heard me. Trash.
you heard that? You heard that? Did you guys hear that?
Trash. This is an LA native talking. So it is rooted.
Wow.
This is
Can we
this is
just-
rooted.
Oh, but you love all the LA teams then.
No, but did we hear about what he said about Boston and everyone from Boston?
Wait.
I
Wait,
did.
everyone from Boston?
who?
Even
Everyone from
You said it.
Boston?
You said it.
Oh,
You said it.
Look,
You said everyone from Boston.
well, she's actually from LA. Actually from California. That is true. She's actually from
How about-
California.
isn't that other guy from
she
there, or is he
moved,
from somewhere
but she
else?
moved to Boston. So yeah.
What's Cena
All
from?
right.
I don't like that guy.
He's from Westbury, West Newbury, Massachusetts,
Yeah.
He's close.
which
enough.
might as well be
Close enough.
Boston.
He's close
Not
enough.
Boston,
That's
though.
as close
Not
to it.
Boston. You heard me. You heard me, Boston.
All right, you can see all of our
Laker game,
socials
17
in the
time.
corner. Guys, this has been fun. There he is, LA represent.
17 times. 17 times.
Guys, this is a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us. What do we got? YouTube.com/that hashtag show TV, Twitch.tv/that hashtag show. Oh my God, I did these all out of order. Facebook.com/THS Wrestling News and Instagram.com/THS.wrestling. But most importantly, that hashtag show.com for everything trending in geek pop culture. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, Tegan.